Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Ummah doesn't need more talk, it needs men, not louder voices, not longer debates, not trending hashtags. Men, because right now we are drowning in opinions, but starving for responsibility. Everyone has something to say, few have something to build, and that imbalance is costing us more than we realize. We analyze politics for hours. We argue theology in comment sections. We repost injustice with emotional captions. But when it comes to discipline, silence. When it comes to waking up for Fajr consistently, excuses. When it comes to controlling anger, ego, desire, avoidance. The Ummah doesn't collapse from lack of information. It collapses from lack of character. And character is not built through talk, it's built through sacrifice. Let's define something clearly. A man in Islam is not defined by age, not by income, not by physique. He is defined by responsibility, by the weight he is willing to carry. Allah describes believers in Surah Al-Ahzab, Ayah 23. Among the believers are men who have been true to what they pledged to Allah. True, not emotional, not reactive, true. They commit and they stand by it. Today, many commit verbally, few commit structurally. You say you care about the Ummah, but do you care about your own consistency? You want revival, but you don't want discomfort. You want leadership, but you avoid discipline. This is the contradiction. The Ummah doesn't need more critics. It needs men who can govern themselves before trying to govern the world, because self-control precedes societal change. Look at the early Muslims. They were not perfect, but they were anchored. Their word meant something. Their prayer meant something. Their promises meant something. Today, promises are flexible. I'll start tomorrow. I'll get serious soon. I'll fix my habits eventually. That's not manhood. That's delay disguised as intention. A boy follows impulse. A man restrains it. A boy reacts emotionally. A man responds deliberately. A boy demands rights. A man fulfills duties. The Ummah doesn't need more emotional reactions. It needs stability. Men who wake up when they don't feel like it. Work when they don't feel motivated. Pray when their nafs resists. Speak truth when it costs them. Because stability creates trust, and trust builds communities. Right now, many young Muslim men are overstimulated and underdeveloped. Endless scrolling, constant comparison, escapism through entertainment, short-term pleasure replacing long-term growth. And then we wonder why leadership feels rare. Because leadership requires friction. It requires saying no to yourself. It requires controlling your tongue. It requires lowering your gaze. It requires showing up consistently. That's not glamorous, but it's powerful. The prophet was not powerful because of volume. He was powerful because of integrity. When he spoke, people listened. Why? Because his life matched his words. Today, many speak about discipline while living undisciplined lives. They speak about modesty while lacking it privately. They speak about justice while being unjust in small matters. That contradiction weakens credibility. And credibility is the backbone of influence. The Ummah doesn't need more content. It needs content-backed character. Let's go deeper. A real man in Islam protects three things: his prayer, his integrity, his responsibility. If Fajr is optional in your life, leadership is fictional. If your word is unreliable, authority is impossible. If your desires control you, you cannot protect anyone else. Strength begins internally, not in the gym, not on social media, in the unseen battles. When anger rises and you silence it, when temptation appears and you turn away, when laziness whispers and you move anyway. That is where manhood is forged. The Ummah doesn't need more men who talk about change. It needs men who embody it. Men who study deeply, who train physically, who provide responsibly, who treat women with honor, who raise children with presence. Men who don't crumble under pressure. Pressure reveals identity. When hardship hits, do you panic? Or do you anchor yourself in Salah? When criticized, do you explode? Or do you reflect? When tested financially, do you compromise values? Or do you stand firm? These moments define you, not your opinions, your reactions. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The reason there is so much talk is because talk is easy. It requires no transformation. You can speak passionately while staying unchanged. But transformation is costly. It costs ego. It costs comfort. It costs old habits. That's why many avoid it. But revival has never come from comfort. It comes from men who fear Allah more than they fear discomfort. Men who choose discipline over desire, purpose over popularity, silence over ego-driven speech. If you want the Ummah to rise, start by rising in your own home. Be the first to wake up. Be the last to complain. Be the one who stabilizes the room. Because real men reduce chaos. They don't amplify it. Right now, ask yourself honestly, are you building strength or consuming distraction? Are you sharpening your skills or drowning in commentary? Are you protecting your prayer or negotiating with it? The Ummah doesn't need more frustration. It needs formation, formed minds, formed habits, formed discipline. You don't become that overnight. You become it through repetition, daily prayer with presence, consistent self-control, continuous learning, physical and spiritual training. That's not dramatic, but it's powerful. And powerful men create stable families. Stable families create strong communities. Strong communities create resilient ummahs. It starts smaller than you think, not in global politics, in your morning routine, in your private habits, in your ability to keep your word. The ummah doesn't need more talk. It needs men who are hard on themselves and gentle with others. Men who correct quietly, lead humbly, serve sincerely. Men who don't chase validation because they already know who they serve, and that identity gives them gravity. So before you post another opinion, ask yourself, am I becoming the kind of man I wish led this ummah? If the answer is no, start there. Less talk, more structure, less reaction, more responsibility. Because when men rise internally, the ummah rises collectively. And that rise will not begin with noise. It will begin with discipline. If this made you reflect, sit with it. If this shifted your perspective, subscribe, because the next video might change your life.